Hey guys, my name is Jack Sanniota. I'm the conference director of Web3 ATL. I want to welcome you all and thank you all for coming. We got a packed schedule for you today, but what we're going to start out with is a short conversation about why we're here. Like I said, I'm Jack Sanniota, but the four of us are the founders of 404 DAO. We have a little presentation set up to explain how we got here and explain why you should care about anything we talk about the rest of the weekend. Sound good? All right, this is Manny Jonson, Cole Schendl, Pruitt Martin.
Cool, so good morning everyone. Like Jack said, my name is Pruitt Martin. So Cole and I were two of the three co-founders for Blockchain at Georgia Tech. We started our organization a little over a year ago in the fall of 2021. And really the reason we got into crypto and stuff about 2 years ago, and we realized there was just no community or opportunity for students to connect at Georgia Tech, to talk about these subjects, to learn about these subjects. And so we were like, all right, let's do it, we'll start it. And so over that summer in 2021, we started laying the foundations for the club. And that first semester, we really focused on trying to just like attract as many students as we could that were in the crypto. And we realized pretty quickly that there really just weren't a lot of students who were super knowledgeable about these subjects. And so we were in our meetings talking about some advanced stuff related to crypto and DeFi, and it was just going over people's heads. There wasn't like a lot of great engagement. And so in the spring of 2021, or 2022 of this year, we were like, we need to pivot and refocus kind of like the core mission of our club. And so now we are very centered on education, of just developing crypto knowledge on Georgia Tech's campus. We've created a Crypto 101 class to help teach students more about these topics. And we've had, I think, 60 people go through our spring class. I haven't done the numbers for this year, but I think we're around like probably 50 unique students as well. And in addition to education, we focus a lot on research as well as governance. We were recently excited to announce, I guess, here that we've become delegates for DYDX and Optimism. So we're very excited about that. We conduct research with Blockworks and Goldfinch, so you can expect some new research reports coming out in the next week or so. But leading, I guess, out of Georgia Tech, we created this nonprofit called 404 DAO.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'll tell you a little bit more about 404 DAO. So, as Pruitt mentioned, in the spring, we were like scaling the club and starting to think about the future. And it was really funny. Like in our text, we were like, man, like, what are we going to do when we graduate? How can we still maintain some structure in Atlanta for people that are crypto native, people that are builders? We're like, what about just 404 DAO? And that's where we started back in like February in the idea phase, and then through a lot of like great people and connections, we were able to file for a nonprofit 501c3, and we did that because we see ourselves as a public good educational nonprofit. And that's why we are here today, is to teach and tell people about blockchain and digital assets. This industry has a lot of history, some of which is not as pretty as we would like. So there may be misconceptions that people have about blockchain, about cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. So we wanted to focus on bringing awareness and also bringing technical talent into the space. I mean, Georgia Tech, as a lot of you probably know, is like the #5 CS program in the country. Industrial engineering is #1 in the world for 23 years, right? We have phenomenal like machine learning and other things. And all of those skills can translate directly over to blockchain. So we believe that blockchain and digital assets will be a pivotal infrastructure for the future of technology and the many different ways that it can be used. And yeah, we want to be here to bring in Atlanta and also the Southeast into this initiative. So how are we doing that? We're doing that through conferences, which is Web3 ATL. Also hackathons. So we're over at the Tech Square Social Club today. We had, for our first hackathon ever, 170-ish people sign up. So we're super thrilled about that. Huge thanks to our sponsors for that as well. So yeah, 404 DAO is bringing crypto native companies into Atlanta and educating the broader audience in the Southeast and Atlanta. So Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Cole Schendl. I'm one of the co-founders of Blockchain Georgia Tech also. But let's talk about Atlanta. Think about all that Atlanta has to offer. Being a fintech capital, we process over 70% of payments in the United States come through Atlanta. There's over 170 fintech organizations that do over $100 billion in revenue. Yet there's this weird misalignment with crypto, really kind of adoption in Atlanta. We do have companies like BitPay and NCR and different fintech companies that are trying to push the needle forward, but overall, the overall awareness just isn't there. If you look at it like any other big city, like New York, Miami, San Fran, you have a lot of the same similar properties. You have, great talent. You look at Georgia Tech, Emory, UGA, GSU. The talent's there and the infrastructure's there. You look at Google, Microsoft, AWS. All these companies are moving to Atlanta to poach talent and to really just grow the ecosystem in Atlanta. They realize there's opportunity there. They realize that they have value to either create or extract from Atlanta. So really, what we're noticing is, crypto specifically and like blockchain technology, that is fintech. Inevitably, as we go on this path of innovation, technology continues on and it continues to disrupt. You can't stop technology. You can't stop innovation. So you either have to adapt or you'll die. And what we wanted to do as an organization was really try to show people that Atlanta needs to adapt or else we're going to get left behind. So moving forward, one really cool graphic that we have from Bloomberg is if you look at the top 15 crypto cities, Atlanta doesn't even show up on the map. That shows you the misalignment, between what we already have in terms of infrastructure with big tech and just fintech. For Atlanta to not even have a tiny little dot on that map shows you that there's a lot of work we need to do.
We're still early.
We're still early. So just something to think about, think about where we are right now and think about where we need to be. So that's a lot of kind of the thought process that we've had behind this whole mission.
So enter Web3 ATL. We saw all these problems. We knew that we wanted to educate people about the technology itself, and we thought that this was the best way to do it. Most conferences that you show up at are made people that are crypto native or already know about blockchain technology. What we did for this conference is we designed it specifically for newcomers to actually educate and onboard the next generation of talent into the space, because we've seen through our own experiences that needs to happen. We structured it around 3 words, so build, inform, advance. The build portion is the hackathon. It's going on concurrently, as Manny said, at the Tech Square Social Club. We have 4 industry-sourced problems from crypto-native companies. I guess one of them is 404 DAO, but 3 from crypto-native companies, and $10,000 in prizes for our students. I think the biggest hackathon in Georgia is HackGT, and their biggest prize is like $1,000. So being able to show students that there's actually real financial value, just completely incentive-based, in crypto was something that we wanted to show. So that's build. Inform is this, the conference series or speaker series. We have over 60 speakers over the next 2 days. And then advance is the networking portion, the side events, and that kind of thing. So a little bit more about the flow. Our 2 main missions were to educate the next generation of talent and connect the different blockchain communities in Atlanta. Yes, there's not a giant crypto scene yet, but there are communities that exist. They just don't really work together. So we wanted to use this event as a way to bridge those communities and actually build up a greater community in Atlanta and start to put our little bubble on the map. Like I said, it's open to all, but it's designed for newcomers. Another thing that we were really interested in trying to pursue is the Georgia Tech curriculum. Like Manny explained, we have some of the top tech talent at this school in general, like in the entire nation. There are 2 blockchain classes. One is like a master's level class, and one is like a intro to fintech and only spends like 3 weeks on blockchain. So as this event, we wanted to show the administration, and we worked with Georgia Tech officials and teachers as well, that there's student interest in this technology. And I'm happy to say that we have over 470 student applications for this weekend. So we're on the way. But last thing, quick explanation of the conference structure. So Saturday, this morning, will be blockchain technology. Then we'll move into Web3 Part 1. Sunday morning will be Web3 Part 2. And then Sunday afternoon will be advanced topics. Each of the individual topics were designed to start very beginner focused, just so that we can explain important concepts to people that are not super familiar, and then they'll build and get more interesting as the conversation goes. And the conference itself is laid out in that way as well. So we start with the basics of blockchain tech, we go into Web3, then we get into advanced topics.
Cool. So the real reason we're here, Web3, right? Just a little curious, who here has never heard of Web3 before? If I can get some crowd engagement with some hands. A couple people? Okay. Who here has a really solid definition of Web3? Because I would love to hear it, because I haven't heard a one-sentence line or definition. No one? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, Web3 is still pretty new. It's a term that became very popular, and I think in 2021 during the bull run was kind of used as just oh, crypto has some stigma behind it. Let's just throw Web3 on it, and that's the new term, and we'll get over it. But yeah, I think it actually should be used as a term, and we'll explain why I think over the course of this conference. But I guess before getting into Web3, it's important to note where are we coming from? What is Web 2? Should it even be called Web 2? It's just really the internet as it exists today. And what are the pain points that we're seeing in the internet? And so, having grown up basically my entire life in this digital kind of, not world, but internet, it's been, I wouldn't say interesting, but noticeable at least to see that pretty much every big tech platform today is really just optimized for ad revenue. We've seen the rise of Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all rely on the collection of pretty much every single data point you can imagine on the individual. And they store these data points in order to really just optimize their ad revenue models. And so pretty much everything you see online is curated for you in order to capture your attention in the best way possible so that you watch an advertisement. And that's how most of these companies make money. And apps have been made to be explicitly, I guess, addictive, so that you watch more ads. And naturally, I would argue that this has been pretty negative overall for society. We've seen the rise of polarization, people are more divided, and there's clearly a problem with the inherent structure and business model of the internet today. And so while Web3 might not be the solution for everything on the internet, nor is it the solution for every problem in the world, the idea of ownership and reinserting ownership back into these interactions with individuals is something that we all believe is extremely important, and is why we spent 4 months planning this conference. And so what is Web3? For me, it's about reinserting ownership. For others, it's about decentralization, removing single points of failure across the internet. For others, it's the trustlessness, the permissionless, the composability of everything that is going on in crypto. But one of our goals for this conference is to really explore these different pillars of Web3 of crypto, and hopefully by the end of the conference have a better idea of what it is so that we can actually have maybe a solid definition of what exactly is Web3. So thank you guys.
A few quick announcements before we hand it off. We partnered with some local organizations, obviously Blockchain and Georgia Tech. All the people that you see in black shirts, we have a 20-person student team that has organized the entire festivities this weekend. I want to go ahead and give a round of applause. Anyone in a black shirt, tell them thank you. They've been working really hard on this. As well as Atlanta Blockchain Center, they've been very helpful to us as well. It's a co-working space and DAO that's set up out of Buckhead, and then Babylon Web3 Academy is a industry professional networking meetup group. Just wanted to shout them out and thank them for their help. And last but not least, we want to thank all of our sponsors. I mean, we're all students. Like I said, this would not be possible without any of them. So please, big round of applause for all of them. Thank you very much.